people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Okay, we'll start with this. Pitbull Cruz is satisfied to now move on from Lamont Roach Jr., essentially walking back his initial post-fight comments that there would be a rematch. Apparently not.
I'm not surprised. If you'll remember in my post-fight recap, I was skeptical from the get.
Isaac Pitbull Cruz, empowered by the fact that his drawing power generated a capacity crowd to San Antonio's Frost Bank Center this past Saturday, tells Boxing Scene he's content in not taking an immediate rematch with Lamont Roach, following their draw in which the WBC interim 140-pound champion Cruz scored a third-round knockdown and closed by winning the last 2 rounds on 2 judges' scorecards to generate scores of 115-111 Cruz and 2 113-113 cards. The popular Mexican fighter says he's turning to champions and elite contenders who will be more willing to fight in the center of the ring.
The 2 champions that almost immediately came to mind were Subriel Matias, the full WBC champion, the real one. He's the kind of guy that Cruz is talking about, and in some ways, so is Gary Antoine Russell.
Cruz named upcoming welterweight title challenger Ryan Garcia, WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis, and WBC 140-pound champion Subriel Matias as his ideal next foes.
Gervonta Davis, after the fight, did say that he'd be willing to fight Isaac Cruz once his knee heals.
Fight with Ryan. There's been more than one attempt to make a fight with Ryan the last 5 years. I guess that Isaac is finally warming up to that idea. Of course, it would require Isaac to move to the welterweight division, where Ryan is currently campaigning, and he'd be a very small guy at 147. The fight with Subriel wouldn't require him to go anywhere, and it's a fight that the WBC can order since Subriel is the full champion and Isaac is the interim.
I'm so happy and proud of myself for this fight I gave against recent WBA super featherweight champion Roach, Cruz said. It's not possible to have another fight with him because I've already demonstrated I did a really good fight. The type of fight that I really want is from fighters who come to fight for the people. Garcia, Davis, Matias. The change of tune by Cruz won't likely sit well with Washington's Roach after Baltimore's Davis barely survived with a March 1st draw against Roach and then turned his back on his neighborhood rival.
Isaac is now doing the same thing.
After he said that he wouldn't. It just goes to show you that these fighters are nowhere near as noble or true to their word as they are made out to be, and it's for that reason that I often don't put them on a pedestal. Cruz's advisor, Sean Gibbons, pointed to Roach saying his right hand was broken midway through the Saturday bout and said this of Roach to Boxing Scene on Tuesday: "Brother man's lying around with a cast on his arm, so I don't think he'll be next." Gibbons said, "We won the fight. I don't care what the judges say. The fight fans want to see is what we're doing after. Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis are those fights, and that's who we're targeting next year." Cruz said he's out to provide more entertainment to his fans. "I want to show the people. I want to give them a good fight," Cruz said. "That means the most to me." Gibbons was bullish on his fighter showing, pointing to the capacity crowd of 10,000 plus despite the middle rounds fade.
That doesn't change that the fight ended in a draw, and that doesn't change that where initially you guys said there would be a rematch, you're now walking that back. And I ain't saying that because I'm pressed to see a second fight. I don't actually want one.
I'm saying it because I told you after the fight, after Isaac provided reassurance that there would be a rematch, that I was skeptical. The rematch is contingent on the success of the first fight. That was my purview. That if you did good at the gate and you sold a lot of pay-per-views, you might actually do a second one, which could be bigger than the first.
But it is contingent upon the success of the first. And if the first one didn't sell much, the second one won't either.
Isaac is the new face of Mexican boxing. There is no one else from Mexico who's putting on the kinds of exciting fights that he is. Not Canelo, no one, Gibbons said. So he has the right to choose.
Oh, now Isaac is the face of Mexican boxing. I thought that was David.
Ryan Garcia at 147, Gervonta Davis, all he's looking for and all he wants to accomplish is bringing fight fans fights they want to see. He's earned the right. He is the draw. He puts asses in the seats.
He sold a little over 10,000 tickets in San Antonio, buddy. Calm the fuck down.
Shakur sold 10,000 in Newark. Boots sold 10,000 in Philly.
Keyshawn Davis sold 10,000 in Norfolk.
Calm the fuck down, Sean. You're just trying to disguise the fact you're running from the rematch. I remember after Lamont's fight with Gervonta, a lot of Gervonta's fans were criticizing him for doing a victory lap off of a draw.
That's what they were saying. Except that evaluation actually applies more to Isaac than it ever did to Lamont. Isaac outright lost to Gervonta Davis, but you would have never known it how he behaved after that. Walked away from an order to box Shakur Stevenson at 135, turned down not one, but two offers to box Ryan Garcia, and now he's supposed to be the face of boxing. He's supposed to be the face of boxing off of a draw, not a win.
This guy's the king of failing up.
Failing forward, then patting himself on the back afterwards. And the reason I think that Lamont Roach was criticized for it, and not Isaac, who actually deserves that criticism, is because Isaac lost. He lost to Gervonta Davis. After the fight,
there was no controversy. Not like what you saw with Lamont. Lamont has a legitimate claim that he beat Gervonta Davis. Isaac doesn't.
So Gervonta Davis's fans are genuinely angry with Lamont. They're not mad at Isaac because Isaac lost. He can think what he wants afterwards. You got a loss in the column.
Doesn't matter what you think.
I mean, apparently you think you're the face of Mexican boxing now because you lost to Gervonta and drew with Lamont because you sold a paltry 10,000 tickets in San Antonio?
Like I said, Isaac is the king of failing up.
Elsewhere in the super lightweight division, Hitchins is back with Matchroom. Back together, 2026 will be a huge year, more millions, and mega fights. I believe that Richardson Hitchens only fought once this entire calendar year, and I believe that was the George Kambosos fight.
Back in June.
Managed by veteran manager Keith Connolly, who also handles the career of Edgar Berlanga, who chose free agency over renewing with Matchroom, and for a while there, it looked like Richardson Hitchens was doing the exact same thing, trying to play the field, not realizing that free agency isn't all it's made out to be, and it's not for fighters like Richardson Hitchens. In reality, it's only for a select few established fighters and established brands that have established drawing power. So much so that it doesn't matter where they go, they're going to draw anyway. When you're thinking about somebody like that, you're really thinking about a Canelo Alvarez. Him and nobody else. Nobody really.
Now, granted that Teofimo is in some ways a free agent, and so is Shakur Stevenson.
So is Devin Haney. So why was His Excellency willing to work with those young fighters, those free agents, who don't draw like a Canelo Alvarez, but he was willing to use them anyway, where he didn't seem willing to use Richardson Hitchens? I could split hairs over the reason, but it really doesn't matter because the answer is the same. Hitchens doesn't have it like that. Free agency really isn't for guys like Richardson Hitchens.
The point I've been making.
You're just shortchanging yourself for the stability that a Matchroom can provide you. A regular schedule of fights, regular money that you can count on time.
What do you think the plan is for Hitchens?
Even with Matchroom back in his corner, it's hard to say, because the only real value of Richardson Hitchens is that he holds a super lightweight title, the IBF title. That's what keeps him relevant. Without that, if he were to move up to welter,
no belt, no bargaining power, no marquee value.
Oh, he might want to go to welterweight because the names are a bit bigger up there. You have Ryan Garcia, you have Devin Haney.
Conor Ben very soon.
But if he were to go up to welter, where he ain't got no belt, thus no bargaining power, he'd be the odd man out. So maybe it behooves him to stay put, stay where he is at 140, where he at least has the IBF title. Maybe he can look to unify with Subriel Matias or Gary Antoine Russell.
Maybe he can fight Lamont Roach.
Now that we know for sure that Roach versus Cruz isn't going to happen, Roach needs an opponent. Do Hitchins versus Roach, or Hitchins versus Russell, a unification match. Subriel Matias.
Like I said, Richardson Hitchens does not have the relevance, the marquee value to corner fights with bigger names like Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney. There's still more work needs doing, more building. So I'm not clear on what the plan moving forward is. Does Matchroom plan on keeping him at 140 and putting him in unification fights, or is he going to move up to welter and roll the dice up there? I'm not sure.
But the story is, he's back with Matchroom, so he at least wised up and realized he ain't got what it takes to make it out in the field. Not just with Keith Connolly in his corner. You're gonna need a bit more than that. Finally, in men's cruiserweight news, Ryan Rozicki warns Jai Opetaia after Sin Cara knockout, don't believe your own hype. Ring and IBF champion Jai Opetaia scored his fourth consecutive stoppage win last weekend to emphatically dismiss mandatory challenger Hussein Sin Cara in 8 rounds, capping on an active year with 3 title defenses. It's the busiest he's been since 2019, when stepping up through the levels from domestic and regional championships towards world-level opposition. As such, Canada's Ryan Rozicki is respectful of the 30-year-old and is standing atop the Cruiserweight division. However, the Ring's number 4 rated Cruiserweight contender does believe he would represent a big step up in competition from who the Sydney Southpaw has been facing as of late. From what I've seen, I think he's probably the best in the division. Rozicki, 20-1 with 19 KOs, told the Ring. If that fight does happen to come my way, 100% I'll take it. He's not fought anyone near me. I've seen some of his fights, and he's fighting lower-level opposition. After watching the champion almost come unstuck early in his fight last Saturday against Sin Cara, the Canadian has a warning for his age mate. In my opinion, his opponent didn't look world-class, he said. He got hit and wobbled in the second round. I believe if that was my right hand that hit him, he would not have taken it. He would not have gotten up. Opetaia's aggressive start played into Sin Cara's hands in round 2.
Do you agree with that? Do you think that Ryan, if he landed on Jai the way that Hussein landed on Jai, would he do more damage?
I actually do, because Ryan is a different guy to Hussein Sin Cara. This is a guy who's moving away from you to walk you into a punch, whereas Ryan, he steps into his and puts all of his weight behind them as he barrels forward, adding more power and thus more damage. But of course, the preparation for a Ryan Rozicki would not be akin to the preparation for a Hussein Sin Cara. So where Jai Opetaia was coming forward on Hussein, might not do that with Ryan, because he doesn't have to. Ryan's gonna come forward himself. I'm not gonna do half the work for him. Maybe I hang back. Maybe I set traps. Maybe I box him up. So while I do agree that Ryan would do more damage with his right hand than Hussein, that's assuming Jai fights you like he fought him, and I don't think he would. He was visibly frustrated post-fight and lamented a poor performance, though one that will give him renewed concentration for 2026 amid frustration about failed unification efforts. Perhaps overconfidence and lacking a true challenge have shown in Opetaia's recent performances, where he was caught by David Naika and even more so by Sin Cara before powering through. Rozicki offers a warning for the current cruiserweight top dog. Don't believe your own hype, he said. Be very careful what these guys around you say about you, because you may think you're the bogeyman, but you probably not. Rozicki's promoter Daniel Otter of the Three Lions Promotions is also open to matching his fighter with Opetaia. We hear a lot of talk from Jai that people are ducking him, said Otter. I feel people have been ducking Ryan too, so if he's going to speak, Ryan is ready to fight him. And I like that Ryan is willing to take opportunities as they come, even if they're dangerous ones. I mean, fighting Jai Opetaia is arguably the most dangerous fight at the weight, but beggars can't be choosers, and Ryan...
He already missed out on one world title opportunity. He was supposed to box Badu Jack, but he got injured, Noel Mikhailian stood in his place, and the rest, as they say, is history. So now Ryan is in the market for another world title shot. Sounds like they want to get it through Jai. Jai's not otherwise preoccupied.
It's a light at the end of the tunnel for Jai Opetaia that there are at least some guys out there that are willing to fight him, and they ain't half bad. Though not only that, reigning WBC Cruiserweight champion Badu Jack, who I just mentioned, was recently asked about a Jai Opetaia fight, and this is what he had to say.
I'm assuming you want Jai Opetaia next. The ring champion, he just defended his title in explosive fashion on Saturday. We saw the knockout, maybe the best knockout of the year.
Yeah.
Is that next if you beat Noel?
Yeah, I hope so. I've been asking for this fight for almost 2 years now, and hopefully we can make it happen. But you can't underestimate what's in front of you. I'm focusing on this guy, and after that, hopefully we can make that fight happen. It's going to be a lot of money involved, so yeah, that's the fight I want. Yeah.
And look, Noel, for you as well.
Same, yeah.
Jai Opetaia, you think he's the best in Cruiserweight, right? He's the best.
Well, to find out who's the best, everybody has to compete against each other. Then you will find out who's the best. You can't just hype somebody up without no result,
Right, sure.
Nobody hasn't fought each other.
But he's the ring champion, so that's why we're saying he's the best. He has the ring championship, the belt's right behind you. Look, we know that Zurdo Ramirez and David Benavidez are fighting at Cruiserweight, so there's more big names coming into the division now. Obviously, Benavidez is a big star. That's exciting times for a division that doesn't get a lot of spotlight, usually in the U.S., right?
That's true, but with the Mexican fighters coming up there's a huge crowd behind them. It will be an attractive weight class.
These two are fighting this weekend on pay-per-view on the West Coast. And you got the sense that Badu Jack was a little bit more committed to fighting Jai Opetaia if he wins than Noel. Noel is the guy who spent a long time running from a Ryan Rozicki fight. So I hardly believe him when he says he's going to run to a Jai Opetaia fight. We'll see.
Might try to sell that belt to Jake Paul.
Might try to fight the winner of Zurdo versus Benavidez in May of next year, which I think is a safer fight than fighting Jai Opetaia, but that's the light at the end of the tunnel for Jai, that Badu Jack was asked about the fight, and Noel was asked about the fight, and they both say they want it, alongside a very game Ryan Rozicki. So where it was looking bleak for Jai Opetaia to fight formidable fighters and meaningful fights that maybe this guy should just abandon the undisputed campaign and move up to heavyweight, not so fast. There may yet be some opportunities out there.
You couldn't get Zurdo Ramirez and his 2 alphabet titles, but there's still one more out there. Maybe you can get that one.
A lot is being made of the second round in the Sin Cara fight, where Sin Cara got in with a good shot, buckled Jai Opetaia. Maybe it helps that he looked a little bit human, even if it was only for a moment.
That one moment might be enough to put a battery in some of these guys' backs to say, I can do better than that. I can beat Jai Opetaia.
We'll see what the coming calendar year holds for the reigning Ring Magazine and IBF champion.